What's up, y'all? Morning routines. That is the topic of discussion today. I mentioned a couple weeks ago I did a poll on Instagram, and it seemed like it was a really useful topic. It's something that was difficult for me at first to build, and now that I'm into it, it's like totally changing my world. So I'm gonna talk to you about how I build morning routines and what I'm currently doing. Feel free to share any routine that you have, anything that you feel like works for you to sort of set the tone for the day. Before I dive into what I'm currently doing and how I got there, I want to talk a little bit about why morning routines are so important. And, for many of you, you might already understand that, how we wake up and it inherently impacts how we show up the rest of the day, how we feel the rest of the day, how the pace of the rest of the day is for us. And so it's a really great way to regulate both physically and emotionally. And so, that's why having a morning routine is something that I highly encourage you to, take an inventory of what yours currently looks like. So my morning routine started with just building up to several habits that I am currently employing every morning. And, the first, it started with reading in the morning. When my dog got sick about probably 6-7 weeks ago, I had to wake up earlier than I normally would because I had to give her medicine every 8 hours. And I thought, okay, well, as long as I'm waking up earlier, I'm going to start reading because that's something that I've been wanting to do. So I started setting my alarm while everyone else was sleeping, and it was dark out, and I started reading. And then I just did that day after day. And then I started to think about okay, well, what else could I add? What else could set me up for success to have, the best possible chance of having a great day? And so the things that I've built into my morning routine today include reading, meditating, practicing gratitude, drinking water, moving my body, and writing. So that's 6 things. Right? And that may feel overwhelming. So my point is that not to do all of those things today. My point is that I started with just reading, right? And then after I'd been reading for a few weeks every morning, I started to, the second that I woke up, maybe even before I opened my eyes, but the second that I had, was aware that I was awake, I started to practice gratitude. And that didn't look like writing it down. I just simply take an inventory of, in that moment, and the day before, or whatever else pops into my mind that I feel abundant in and grateful for. Sometimes it's just like when my dog runs into my room in the morning and I pick her up and I squeeze her, and it's like the best part of my day. And so I was reading, and then I was practicing gratitude before my feet even hit the floor. And then from there, I started to build in meditation, drinking water, and writing, and movement has always been part of my morning, but I've tailored it a little bit differently. So with the meditation, how I set myself up for success with that is I have my headphones right on my nightstand, and I bookmark the meditation that I want to do the next morning. So there's no fussing around. There's no fussing around in the morning with, what am I going to choose? And, what meditation should I do? It's done, it's set in stone. So when it comes from a behavior change perspective, what I also want to point out is how I make this seamless and easy to do. So I wake up, I practice gratitude before my feet hit the floor. I put my headphones in, I sit on the floor, I open up the meditation that I've chosen the night before. I typically do a 10-minute one. And then from there, I go back in bed, I get my book out, and my book is already sitting on my nightstand, right? There's nowhere for me to go. It's right there. I pick up my book and I start to read. And then as I start to read, my mind starts going. I usually pick something, inspiring. I, pick things like, I just finished reading Fear is My Homeboy. I read Untamed. And just for some background, reading is not, yes, you can meditate while you breastfeed, Tracy. I love you. Thank you for being here. I like to pick things that really get me thinking and growing as a person and getting into that growth mindset and to be inspired so that I can serve and be there for other people. And, to your point, Holly, preparation is key. You take the decision out of it, right? So it's seamless for me, right? So my glass of water is also on my nightstand. So when I wake up in the morning, my glass of water is sitting right there, okay? So I wake up, before my feet hit the floor, I practice gratitude. I put my headphones in, I open the app with the meditation, and I do the meditation that I've chosen the night before. I go back in bed, I take my book out, which is sitting right on my nightstand. There's nowhere for me to go. I read, and right after I'm done reading, I pick up the journal that's also on my nightstand, and then I journal, right? So I've taken all of when we think about behavior change, we want to reduce all the steps, as many as we can, towards executing a behavior. So everything is right there. And then from there, I go into my movement. And typically I'll pre-select what I'll do in the morning. And this might not be my workout for the day. It might just be stretching. It might be 10 minutes of some kind of strength training. There was one day where I was running out of time before my first session, and I was like, I'm just gonna do 10 sit-ups because I wanna do my movement. I wanna get my 6 things in. So to recap, my morning routine started with just simply reading in the morning, just one habit. And from there, I built on the gratitude. And then from there, I built on drinking water, meditating, writing, and reading, and movement. And everything that I need is already sitting in my room on my nightstand for me, already planned out the day before. So if you're feeling overwhelmed about building a morning routine, what I would recommend is that you pick one thing, and it doesn't have to be any of the 6, right? It doesn't have to be any of the 6 that I did, but just pick one thing and just start doing that thing tomorrow. And maybe it's just like setting your alarm 10 minutes earlier, 5 minutes earlier, 1 minute earlier if you just want to practice gratitude, or drinking a glass of water, and do that one thing. And then when you feel ready to add something else on, then add a second thing on. And then watch how it changes, how you show up each day, and how you're able to go into your day grounded. You've decided what the pace of the day is going to be because you've been present, you've filled your cup, you've connected before you've reached out to anybody else. You've done the things both mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally to take care of you. And you've gone from your heart racing and moving throughout your day and racing around and being all chaotic to ease, right? And that just sets you up for success. So those are my tips on starting and building a morning routine. I would love to know, if there's anything that you do in your morning routine that I didn't include that you find beneficial. And if you're building a morning routine from scratch, I would love to hear what's one thing that you are going to focus on that would bring you joy, that would fill your cup, that would slow your pace down. So feel free to pop comments down below. Feel free to share this with anybody else that you want to bring along for accountability. You can hit that share once I post this too. I'll share it to the IGTV. And Pam, I love that. I'm going to try filling my Yeti at bedtime with water. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's just right there. And then you have no excuse to not have that thing be accessible to you. So I hope that was helpful. I would love to hear, what you take away from this and how you implement it, and if you see a difference in your day. And just enjoy the rest of your day and have a good one. This is Jen Rose, Mindset and Wellness Coach. I'm signing out. Peace out, all.